No, no, I am not going to say it. I refuse to say that life is a journey and you have to choose your own path. Oh, I just said it. I've always cringed at cliches, and nothing is more cliche than comparing our life to a road or a path, or as the country song says, life is a highway. But from a photographer's point of view, a path is a very different thing. We call it a leading line. One of the things that makes a photograph interesting is if there's something that draws your eye into it. And nothing works better for that than some sort of line, like a road or a hiking path. And that's why you see so many photographs with a trail that goes right down the center of the scene. We usually call it a leading line, because the path serves as a line that leads the eye into the picture. Which takes us back to this cliche that life is like a path. There's a very famous poem by Robert Frost called The Road Not Taken, and the end of the poem goes like this. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Maybe you had to study this poem in school, or maybe you've seen it on a poster, or a coffee mug, or an inspirational refrigerator magnet. When we read the poem, we usually picture this brave individual who courageously took the less traveled path, the more difficult one, and that choice made all the difference in their life. And this romantic idea of the brave, independent-minded explorer has made this poem a popular topic for things like graduation speeches. Lines from this poem have been borrowed by musical performers from Bruce Hornsby to Melissa Etheridge to George Strait. M. Scott Peck wrote a self-help book called The Road Less Traveled. It became a massive international bestseller. Which reminds me of another interesting fact. Many of the references to this poem misquote its title. The name of the poem is not The Road Less Traveled. The title is The Road Not Taken, which might give us a clue that perhaps we haven't understood everything that Robert Frost was trying to say. This poem depicts a traveler standing at a crossroads, trying to decide which one to take. And if you just skip to the end of the poem and read the line we all know, and I took the one less traveled by, it's easy to come up with the interpretation of this brave traveler taking the more challenging road. But if you read the whole thing from the beginning, it's much less clear. At one point, the traveler admits that both roads actually look like they haven't gotten much traffic. He says to himself, both equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. In other words, this isn't some brave explorer taking the more adventurous path. He's facing something much more familiar to all of us. Having to choose between two or more things that seem about the same, and without being able to see into the future, we don't know all the consequences of our choice. Isn't that the kind of path most of us take? For sure, there's moments when we made the wrong choice and we knew it the minute we made it. But many more times, we simply don't know which way is going to be the better choice. We have to choose without knowing. And that's what this poem is about. The person is looking back on their life and with the wisdom of hindsight is reimagining that moment when they made the choice. And even though that decision had a far-reaching effect on their life, they have to admit when they made it, they couldn't have known what they know now. You can't go back and start your life all over, the poet writes. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Even taking a picture involves a choice. A photograph captures a moment in time, and you can't always tell ahead of time whether you've chosen the right moment. Of all the thousands of sayings about paths and roads and highways, I like one that was said by Henry David Thoreau. It goes like this: pursue some path, however narrow and crooked, in which you can walk with love and reverence. Photographers pick a road because it helps lead the viewer's eye into something beautiful. And we never know what our choices will bring, but pick a path that you believe will lead you in a direction of beauty.